All right. Um, so I had to do a little business in town. So I went to the bank in Garden City and then to Chinatown and then again, right, to Target on Victory Drive. Right? And that's because I'm trying to, again, right, heal from what happened to me, right, and let it go too, right? But the problem is, I always have to deal with the back pain or whatever every day, right? So that's what I'm trying to heal from right now, right? So I bought me a mat, an exercise mat, right? Again, for a reason, right? right. Now, the thing is, when I go to any restaurant, right, all I remember is eating the food, right? I keep telling you that too. Though the problem isn't with the restaurant, but the night before, right? See, no one really tries to have sex in a restaurant, right? Because again, I'm not gonna just go with some girl, even if she wants to seduce me that day or night, right? That's not the problem, right? So, like I told you, I'm eating my food at what I think is a normal pace, right? But again, right, it's still perhaps taking more than 12 minutes, right? And what I mean by that is when I don't eat, right, I eat quicker not in a restaurant than I do when I'm in one, right? Now, the thing about amnesia is it depends on when you try to black me out, too. Okay, Now, I have proof I went to the restaurant and where I went before that, and they're, of course, right down the street from one another, so it doesn't even take 5 minutes to get there or less, right? Then eating the food, then going to Target, buying something there, which I got a receipt for that too, and then going home, right? Now, this should not have been, though, a 2 hour trip. No, that's the problem, right? Okay, See, I'm trying to catch up on some of my bills, right? Well, one of the problems I'm catching up with is the house payment, right? I'm 1 month behind almost, right? Really, it's less than 2 weeks, right? Because I got a grace period, right? But what's going on is when I did what's called a forbearance, right? And, they set all that up and then the forbearance ended, right? I couldn't do it anymore, right? And they didn't tell me which month it started in, March or April. And then I didn't get any notifications before March that anything was going on, right? So by the time they contacted me again, it was April, right? I mean, in March, right? And I got into the Chevrolet Equinox, right? And that just put me a payment behind, right? To where I had to pay the payment a little late, right? But no more than 30 days, right? See, they can't really charge me a late fee unless it's more than 30 days as well. Kind of one of those catch-22s anyway. So that's just something I have to deal with until I can get caught up. And I got me a credit card to kind of try and catch it up, of course, right? So I'm going to try and get the money, right, to a point, right, not all of it, right, at least 500 of it. So on the first, where I don't have to pay my loan to get into the other vehicle, then I can pay 500 or 490, right? Or something like that. 493, 94, somewhere there. And plus put 500 from the card on it, or 250 or whatever, right? To cover the full amount I owe, right? Which that'll put another 400 on in the account, right? I don't know. So that when it goes through on the 30th or the 31st of October, right? Which again, I got to make the payment on the 30th, so it will go through on the 1st, right? I'm might see if they'll let me do it on the 31st, but that might be too close, right? But I'll also have to let them know it can't really fully go through till the 1st, too, right? Right. But it usually takes 2 days for the transfer, right? So that's what I'm hoping will happen. Now, if it don't, I might have to pay the bank fee of $36, right? That's what I'm trying to prepare for, too. That might mean I need another $40. So I might need to put $300 again tomorrow and go to my bank and put it on the credit card again to catch up with the bill. Just to make sure I got enough in the account, right? And I want at least $550 in the account in case I gotta pay the whatchamacallit? Early withdrawal fee, right? But anyway, like I said, right, I don't think nothing happened again, right? Just that I ate the normal food I eat, which is chicken, right? So for dinner tonight, I'm going to have something beefy. Little snack, right? I'm still under 338, so I'm good for right now, right? And I told you, when I eat out, it's more I'm going that way, right? But I can also get the weight back down again, right? But I kind of toggle right now, right? Unless I decide to fast and eat one meal a day, right? Now, sure, I can lose weight that way, but it's not healthy for you to just eat one meal a day, right? Now, you need at least 2 or 3, at least every other day, which is what I'm trying to do right now, right? I'm trying to eat a big meal and a small meal of these, right? Until I can work things out, right? Now, I'm thinking about from December to January, I might try to eat just one meal a day again, right? And that would make it a one meal a day fast, right? From December to 2 weeks into January, around the 15th, right? Or 14th or 13th even, right? So that's about a 40-day fast, right? Or 42, right? Somewhere in there, right? But it's not like Jesus did, because we don't have the faith of Jesus, right? We don't have the faith of Moses or Elijah, right? To go 40 days without food, right? We lost that faith a long time ago. I know we did. Now, the thing is, though, right? I'm trying to explain something to you about Moses. Is that an autobiography or a biography? It's a biography, right? Written by someone else about him, right? There are certain details that only Moses could have filled in, right? For instance, like why he was offered up, or killed, right? When Pharaoh's daughter found him in the river Nile, mysteriously, right, on the ark, right? And the king didn't kill him as a Hebrew child, right? Now, we know, again, right, from even Charleston Heston's version of the Ten Commandments, or whoever wrote it, Cecil B. DeMille or whatever, you know what I mean, right? That there has to be more than meets the eye, and that's why the Jews wrote the Talmud in the first place, right? It's to kind of fill in the blanks, right? But the problem is when you fill in the blanks, right? I don't know. You might be guessing more than you actually know. We know, though, the Pharaoh's daughter is a princess, right? But we don't know if Moses will be in line for the throne, right? That depends, right? Usually it's the Pharaoh's son, right? Who they think it was Ramses or Ramses the second when Moses was in Egypt anyway, right? Now, he's not necessarily not a brother to the son. That depends on who fathered Moses, right? Another reason you don't kill a Hebrew child with who you find floating in the river is he could be your child with one of the Hebrew women. If you're the king and you're playing the field, right? Like King David, or right? I don't know why that story is in the Bible, but it's kind of the point. But no. Only the daughters were to be saved alive, and like I said, that makes Moses look androgynous about why he wasn't killed, right? Himself, right? When they know he's got to be one of the Hebrew children's children, right? If he's in the basket down the river now, and the Pharaoh finds him, right? You didn't give birth to him, they know you weren't pregnant. So it wasn't 9 months later, And part of the story of the Ten Commandments is something happened to her husband or something, right? And he died or something, right? And yet, she could say, oh, the gods have given me a child from my husband, but we know better than that too, so would Pharaoh, right? He's not a dumb man. But the question ultimately is, why? And the same with Mary and Joseph, right? Did they check her virginity like they suspect, right? Like in some of the infancy gospels. And women's hands were withering or something. You know what I mean, right? If you read some of that, right? Now, those are the other gospels, right? But they're not unsensible either, right? Right? Not totally. Now, and you know why, right? Okay, if Mary's a virgin or not, there's only one way to find out. Is her hymen intact, right? If her hymen's intact, Christ was divinely conceived, right? If it's not, she had sex. And yet, an angel tells Joseph to marry her anyway, I know. Now, see, the word angel simply means messenger in the town of Nazareth, who gave Joseph advice that he should marry Mary anyway. That's what it breaks down to in simplicity, right? It don't have to be Gabriel himself. Though he's the one who told her she would conceive and have a son, and right? From Luke, right? Now, Matthew and Luke, though, right? One tells about her betrothal to Joseph more in detail than the other, right? So, of course, that's what Matthew is dealing with, so we think, right? Or whoever wrote the Gospel of Matthew. Now, can a apostle have a scribe? Christians? Yes, right? The scribe is the one writing down the stories, right? Even if he's not an eyewitness, this is what he gathered as Matthew was teaching about Jesus and wrote down, right? It's not really complicated, non-Christians either, right? I know. Now, like I said, though, some things you're going too far with, and some things you do need to control a little, right? Like I said, when a child has sex, you need to make sure the child's old enough to consent to the sex. I agree with that 100%, right? I had to deal with that growing up myself, right? Trying not to sleep with a child, though, isn't always easy sometimes, right? But you can do it, is what I'm saying, right? You don't have to sleep with the child or have sex with the child or molest the child, right? Now, the difference between making sure the child didn't pee might could look like something sexual if you're trying to set me up. Then you'd have to have a camera under TV or something where I couldn't see it, right? And then you're trying to set me up and I'm not behaving normally, nor is the child, right? See, we're not being a stepfather and a stepdaughter who should even be together at that point, right? She's supposed to be in the bedroom with my ex-wife and I'm supposed to be on the couch all night long, right? You see what I mean? Right. So I'm not trying to do nothing if I'm on the couch and my stepdaughter's in the bedroom, right? But how does the other person know she even came in there when that, too, would be a brief incident, right? I know I gotta get her back to her mom either way if she does. I told you that before, too, right? And I'm sure I would have if she did, right? Thing is, if you bring it up 11 years after, I might not even remember the incident, right? So whoever's bringing it up, though, is acting like we talked about it, right? See what I mean? There's a difference also between talking about it with someone else other than my ex-wife and my ex-wife herself actually accusing me, because they're not going to look at me, right? I'm on the couch. They're going to look at who raised the girl, grandma, right? Even I know that, right? Right. That's why I'm making up a story saying, well, I would have to ask the girl who showed her that, and who would you say, grandma? Right, right. That's sarcasm. I know it's sarcasm. But right. Why is it sarcasm? No grandma would teach her child to wake up a sleeping stepdad right, on the couch, right? They would teach him not to do it, right? Right. You understand? Like sarcasm, right? I've been telling you that the whole time. It should be sarcasm, right? But it also should be obvious, right? If I'm interacting with the girl as normally as I can, if she came in there or not, right? I'm not the one in the wrong if she's in there with me, right? No matter what I'm trying to do with to figure out why she's in there with me too, right? So there you're confusing me when I'm already diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. Does that make sense either? No. So you just look at all mentally ill people as evil, huh? We're not. No. Not all of us are bad. Now the thing is, Herschel, Mr. Walker, here's the thing. Confession, right, without repentance, right, is no confession at all, right? You can't use Reverend Warnock, who knows the Bible probably better than you, right, to say he's not forgiving you when you're not confessing. You're acting like you don't know what you did. We know better. Even I know, most of the good and bad things I did in my life, right? Not everything now, right? I might not remember everything, right? But if I don't remember it, it probably wasn't that bad, right? Probably something mundane or normal, right? Or I didn't make it a big deal, someone else did, right? Now, either way, that's sarcasm, right? Or the girl actually said grandma showed her that. I mean, I don't know. Only Daphne would remember from that night, though, right? And that's the ex-wife, right? But why would she hide that when all the girl could have done was wake me up, me figure out why she was in there, and then bring her back to her mom, right? If more than that happened, she could call the police that night, too, and get me in trouble. Why? There would be proof. There would be proof that night if I did something more than a casual observance of the child's situation, right? Now, the only way it can get a little dicey, like I said, if I'm trying to figure out why she's in there and I'm trying to make sure she didn't pee herself or something, right? Then I might have to smell her crotch area. If I done took off her underwear. Why would I take off her underwear? We're in the living room, right? See, a child has to walk to the bathroom, right? From the living room, right? And if you pull her underwear down around her legs or on her feet, she's gonna trip. I mean, come on, dummy, right? Think about it, right? Of course, does that make sense, though? So I can think I might would have done that would confuse anybody if they were observing a tape as well as me being confused, right? But not trying to do nothing sexual with her. But if I did more than this, I'd be in jail, right? That's right. Right. Now, it's not my memory, right? At all. I'm trying to piece it together, right? What's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? I mentioned sarcastically licking her one time. Right. Which could have to do with smelling her too, right? Well, how do I know that? Because my sister, right? How do I know that? Because another girl tried to put her crotch in my face. But I don't know if I did anything with her either, right? The difference is, one of them, right, was old enough to sneak into the living room and maybe make us have sex, right? The 4-year-old ate. No. I could easily bring her back to her mother. She's acting weird. And that's what I mean. Right. See, I don't know any of this happened, right? But I have to defend it whether it happened or not, right? Even if I'm confessing what I think happened, and I'm right or wrong, right? I'm not guilty of anything other than being confused about the situation in the first place, right? And trying to figure out what I could have done based on my memory of what things I've been through before that and after that, right? All the way up to now, what I remember and don't remember, that's some things I do and some things I don't, right? And that's just normal memory loss. It's not Alzheimer's or dementia or anything. But again, right, whole point is, right, I could probably piece together by what the person was saying, what I did or didn't do, believing in myself, right, that I wouldn't really molest a child, but I could have done something questionable, right? Well, the only thing I can think of is I stuck my tongue out to make sure she wasn't peed herself, right? Or hadn't peed herself, right? If she didn't go to the bathroom right away after I took off her underwear or something, right? To help her go pee, right? See, like I said, right? What would you think, right? Either with any of the stories I'm trying to tell you, say she had her crotch in my face. Maybe she needs help peeing, right? And you woke up with her in there with you, right? Now, of course, you still got to ask her, no matter what's going on, right? Who showed you that after? The other reason, like I said, is she might have needed a bath, but I might have gotten undressed, but I still didn't masturbate or anything like that with her either. And I don't think so, right? And that's the problem too, right? See, if the girl has a bath with her grandma, right? Now, like I told you, right? Don't think that, the grandma might not have even had to smell her crotch or whatever, right? That's part of making sure she didn't pee herself sometimes, right? And now, when do they do this? Between what ages, right? 2 to 4, right? Right. She was still young enough, whether she was fully potty trained or not, which I wouldn't know, right? Her potty training or anything about her in detail if I'm only around her for no more than the weekend and moved back to base. So I told you that too, a long time ago. I told you this, right? And this is why it matters, right? Okay, I'm not even around her long enough to molest her, nor did I think of molesting her, and I'm sleeping on the couch, right? I'm away from her, right? She's in there with her mom. Her mom can't let her come in there to a sleeping schizophrenic because she don't know how to react to a child waking me up in the middle of the night either. Is that not a crime? Yes. Wouldn't it be just as much of a crime? Because then I have to deal with my stepdaughter suddenly being in there with me, and I don't know why, right? And all I'm doing is trying to figure out why, and I know the 4 reasons, right? Before I met Daphne, right? Not just suddenly and then I had to deal with it, right? And 2 of the reasons the child will usually ask for something to eat or drink is she's thirsty. She'll say, I'm thirsty, or right. And once I'm up and interacting with her, she's got to let me know what she wants. I know. Or I got to assume what she wants. Now, once I start assuming what she wants, no matter where she's at in the house, right? If she's in the living room right in front of me and say her crotch is in my face and I'm trying to figure it out from there, right? And again, right? Thinking maybe she needs to pee, right? Again, as one of the reasons, right? And if she's fully in the living room, she's got to again walk to the bathroom, right? You can't pull her panties halfway down around her feet, right? She'll trip on the way to the bathroom, right? You gotta take it fully off. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Or she'll trip. Yes, if she's fully in the living room or by the TV, which is, that's a trip to walk into the bathroom, right? Now, the toilet is by the sink, right? Next to the tub, right? So she's got to walk from the living room into the toilet, right? Right. So you're better to take them off in the living room, right? So she can walk to the toilet, right? I'm not thinking what to do or not to do, clearly, obviously, right? If it happened only one time, too, right? But no one should know about it, right? It should be just between me and the daughter and the mother, right? But the only time I could have talked about it was when I blacked out. That was 2 weeks later, over 2 weeks later. 17 to 20 days after I moved out, right? Somewhere in there, right? I know. Does that scare you now, right? Now, with the first wreck, I'm out the hospital in less than 2 days, right? With the second accident, I wake up in the ER and it takes 6 weeks to get out the hospital, right? But I get out walking, right? I'm walking, yes indeed, I'm talking. To you and me, I'm hoping that you will find me, right? And that's both my wife and my God, right? And, now, let's get to the keto videos, right? So we're about halfway in. I'm doing the black belt techniques, right? Now I'm noticing something though. About the 7th technique, I think. Now,
center, thereby applying the lock.
Now the problem with this lock, right, is again, he's totally neglecting that he can grab his foot with his left hand, right? Now in a self-defense situation, right, you want to completely immobilize someone so they cannot defend themselves against you, right? Okay, that's not a bad technique to get him down, right? But you then have to do some kind of arm lock on the ground to make sure he can't use the left hand, because the left hand can still grab your ankle or foot, right? Right. I think this is technique 8, right? Now, I don't go after children either, right? Or adult women, right? I'm trying to wait for someone to choose me and stay with me, right? Now, that don't mean I ain't had one night stands or women who just wanted sex with me and not a commitment, right? I have had that, right? The problem is I'm more committed to the relationship, even if they just live with me, like the woman at the well. For example, right? Not judging myself or the women, right? But forgiving us, right? Now, a commitment is the problem, though, right? If you like me, you would also want to move in with me, unless you're some big Hollywood star, but then why are you with me, right? And don't you know you got stalkers, babe? That could be another reason I don't know who I'm with, right? Both ways, right? An ex could be stalking me, or again, right? Someone's stalking you, right? That's why I'm trying to explain all this to my stepdaughter as well, you know? I don't know you since you were 4, right? I ain't seen you since you were 4. Mhm. You're an adult woman by that time. I wouldn't know you from Peggy Sue, right? Right. Don't try to me. I don't know what you even look like, right? And you can me, right? If I don't know what you look like, right? That's not the same though as going after her when she was 4, right? And I did, and I was on the couch, right?